And a very pleasant good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to another edition of Klamath Falls Falcons Baseball on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com here at the Yard at Eagle Point High School for the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament. Klamath Falls Falcons enter play 31-8-1 on the season. Here in the winner's side of the bracket, they'll meet the Eugene Ole Athletics, who enter play 22-6. Both teams victorious in Game 1 yesterday for Klamath Falls. It was a 13-0 win against Albany. Eugene opened the tournament yesterday with a 12-2 win against Redmond. They find themselves here in Game number 7 of the tournament with a trip to their own semifinal on the line here at the 8-team Oregon American Legion Baseball Single-A State Tournament. And we've got your coverage live right here on 104.3 and 960 Sports. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll introduce you to the starting lineups for both teams as we get ready for first pitch. The Falcons and the Ole Athletics next on MyBasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
The cars we drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
As a parent of a high school athlete, I've given up trying to get pictures of my kid playing sports. It's nearly impossible to take pictures and enjoy the game. There is a solution, though. God's Gifts Photography attends high school sporting events in the Basin to take individual and team action photos at a great price. Search God's Gifts 2 on Facebook to learn more. They'll come and capture your athlete in action, creating those frameable lifelong memories so you can watch and just enjoy the moment. Call 541-281-2206 to get your athlete on their schedule. God's Gifts Photography.
And we welcome you back to the Yard, the baseball complex here at Eagle Point High School in Jackson County, Oregon for the Single-A Oregon Legion Baseball State Tournament on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on MyBasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons getting ready to do battle with the Eugene Ole Athletics in the winner's side of this bracket. Let's go ahead and introduce you to both starting lineups today, and we'll start with our visitors, the Klamath Falls Falcons. Leading off for Klamath Falls today is the second baseman, Max Price. Connor Shively bats second at shortstop. Jacoby Takini is the catcher. He bats third, followed by Colin Takini, the pitcher, hitting fourth. P.J. Safford, the third baseman, bats fifth. Hitting sixth is Ian Meyer, the designated hitter. Corbin Hamilton is at first base, batting seventh. Hitting eighth is Carson Sims in center field. And Ryan Douglas rounds out the order. He bats ninth for the Falcons. They'll go up against Gavin Bush on the mound for the Eugene Ole Athletics. Bush is a recent graduate of South Eugene High School. We'll take a look at him in just a moment, but first the lineup behind him goes like this. Leading off in center field is Mason Baer. Stephen Riley is the right fielder. He bats second. Jaden Arbogast is the third baseman. He's hitting third. Gavin Bush, the pitcher, bats cleanup. Josh Berry, the designated hitter, hitting fifth. J.C. Felipe is the first baseman. He bats sixth, followed by the left fielder, Caleb Van Ordstrand. He is batting seventh. Batting eighth is Zach Hermanson. He's at shortstop. And the second baseman, Landon Vaughn, is batting ninth for the Eugene Ole Athletics. As we are just about ready for first pitch here this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today and give you a brief recap of what's already happened today at the state tournament here at Eagle Point, as a couple of teams have already been eliminated from the tournament. As we take a look, the day started with the team from Portland. That would be the Everett Street Mechanics. They lost to the Dalles. That's the Columbia Gorge Hustlers in the first elimination game of the day. That was a 17-4 win for the Dalles team. So they will advance to play the loser of this game tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. The other team that's been sent home already would be West Albany. They lost to Redmond earlier today, 3-2 in a close game. Redmond had to battle back from behind to come back and win that game by a single run. They will play the loser of our nightcap tonight, which is between Central Point and Eagle Point. That game is scheduled to start at 8 o'clock this evening right here at Eagle Point High School. Our game today, the third one of the afternoon, pitting Eugene against our Falcons. Eugene winning 12-2 yesterday against Redmond. We'll talk more about that game and what Eugene has done to get here to the state tournament. Of course, the Falcons blanking West Albany yesterday. The 2 o'clock game, 13-0 is how the Falcons get here today. It looks like Max Price is getting ready to settle in for the Klamath Falls Falcons. So for those of you watching on mybasin.com, got that scoreboard up for you in the upper right-hand corner as the Falcons get ready for this winner's bracket challenge. It is the Falcons who wear their red uniforms today with blue Falcons written across their chest, blue numbers across their back with white trim and white pants. Eugene today in blue caps, blue shirts. Eugene written across their chest in cursive red text, white outline there, and white numbers across their back with gray pants. And here we go as the right-hander Gavin Bush delivers the pitch. It is a called strike one in around the knees, and that's how we get started. 5:02 here at Eagle Point, 92 degrees and not a cloud in sight. It's a wonderful afternoon for some American Legion baseball. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way to Max Price. This one he flares foul the opposite way. Count moves to 0-2. So taking a look at Gavin Bush on the season, this is his third start, but he hasn't got a ton of innings under his belt. He is 3-0, so he's picked up these wins, but only 10 innings pitched. He's given up 9 hits and 7 runs in those outings. Here, Max Price sends a ground ball out to second. Vaughn is up with it. Throw on to first is in time, and there is one gone in the top of the first inning. In steps Connor Shively. Gavin Bush this season, an ERA of 4.2 in his first 10 innings of the season. Gets the start against the Falcons today. Here's Connor Shively, left-handed stick for Klamath Falls. Awaits the first offering from Bush. It's a two-seam fastball that runs away. The count moves to 1-0. Yesterday, Connor Shively was hitless until the fourth inning when he picked up a single and added an RBI. He was also hit by a pitch in the first inning of that contest and wound up scoring a run as he fouls off the 1-0 pitch, and the count moves to 1-1. Falcons wasted no time getting on the board yesterday against West Albany. They scored 3 runs in their first inning. Wound up with a 13-0 victory. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Shively. It's going to miss upstairs. The count is 2-1. Taking a look at Connor on the season, he is batting .415, second best average on this Falcons squad. He hits a line drive to the third baseman, but Arbogast catches it from his knee. And a nice play at the hot corner for the Eugene third baseman. Sets down the second batter in this half inning for Klamath Falls, and it brings up Jacoby Takini. Jacoby yesterday in the win against West Albany wound up 2 for 3 and had a couple RBI in the late going as well. Poked a single in the fourth inning, knocked in a pair of runs. He reached on an error at one point as well, but Takini here takes strike one on the outside corner. Falls behind as Colin Takini waits on deck. We'll go around the defense for you for Eugene here after this 0-1 pitch. Bush with the delivery. It is grounded back up the middle. The shortstop moving over. Hermanson throws on to first in time. Maybe we'll have to wait until the next half inning to introduce you to the Eugene defense as they set down the Falcons in order in the top of the first inning. The Ole Athletics get their first chance coming up in just a minute here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Set now for the bottom of the first inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons of the Eugene Ole Athletics still scoreless as Colin Takini, the right-hander from Lakeview High School, wraps up his warm-up tosses. We'll give you an outlook on what he's done so far this season for the Falcons. Colin is making his 9th start of the summer. It's his 11th overall appearance. In 45 and a third innings pitched, he's given up 46 hits, 23 runs, 16 of them earned. He's walked 12 and struck out 45 batters, all for an ERA of 2.47. Colin Takini is 5-0 on the season. And again, he'll go up against a Eugene order. Mason Baer, Stephen Riley, Jaden Arbogast is the top 3 guys in the Eugene order. As Jacoby Takini, the other half of the Falcons battery around the diamond. P.J. Safford plays third, Connor Shively at short, Max Price plays second, Corbin Hamilton at first. In the outfield, Ryan Douglas is in left, Carson Sims is in center, and Ryan Glidden is in right field. Again, about 92 degrees here at Eagle Point. As far as what the weather looks like moving forward, this is going to be the hottest it gets all day, so cooling down as we move throughout tonight's game, as opposed to yesterday where we got here at the ballpark about noon, and by the time we left it was as hot as it could be. But the wind is blowing in pretty nicely, blowing in from right field. And our vantage point here from the yard facing pretty much directly west, which means as the sun sets, it could impact the game as we've seen a year ago, or pardon me, not a year ago, a few weeks ago. Eagle Point, we played here and had to actually have a sun delay in that game. I don't think we're going to have to worry about that in our contest. Sun won't set that much. As far as impacting and stopping our game today, but it could see it poking over the hills, over the left field fence as the game goes on. Right now the count 2-0 to Mason Baer. The leadoff hitter for Eugene has stepped in and taken 3 straight pitches. Now the count, though, 2 balls and a strike. As Mason Baer, the starting center fielder, he's class of 2027 from North Eugene High School, the Highlanders. Here's the 2-1. That one is a line drive to right field. It is going to get by Glidden. And a single for Mason Baer. Glidden playing a little bit towards the foul line and just found the gap. Luckily was able to get there and deny Baer extra bases, but a leadoff single for the Eugene Ole Athletics brings up Stephen Riley. Riley, the right fielder. Riley attending Marist Catholic High School, class of 2027. As he settles into the right-handed batter's box with already a runner on, still nobody out. P.J. Safford down at third, coming in to protect against the bunt. As Colin Takini comes set, here's the delivery. He drops in strike 1. Now, Eugene is one of the other few teams like the Klamath Falls Falcons at the single-A level that is actually made up from kids of a bunch of different area high schools in Eugene. Just like the Falcons who draw from Henley, Klamath Union, Bonanza, and Lakeview. Eugene will draw from Sheldon, North Eugene, Cottage Grove, Junction City, Lowell, Marist Catholic, Pleasant Hill, South Eugene, Churchill. I mean, all these area schools they have players from. Here's a ground ball to right side of the infield, off the glove of Corbin Hamilton, and then it rolls into shallow right field, allowing Riley to reach first. Baer moving into scoring position. So Riley reaching on the error. And this brings up Jaden Arbogast. So 2 men on, still no one out here for the Falcons. Arbogast getting ready to step in. He is a recent graduate of Churchill High School, class of 2025. As the corners now again playing in. Hamilton in front of the runner at first. Middle infield ready to turn two. Falcons trying to protect against the bunt. As Arbogast awaits the first pitch. He shows bunt, pulls back, and the pitch misses inside. Count moves to 1-0. Gavin Bush, the Eugene pitcher, waits on deck for the Ole Athletics. Takini set and delivers the pitch. Again, Arbogast bunts. This time pushes it foul down the third base side. And the count moves to a ball and a strike. Again, what's on the line here today? No one is going home after this one in the double elimination format. But the winner here will advance to game number 11 of the tournament, tentatively scheduled for tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, although things could change depending on what happens in our nightcap this evening, with Central Point taking on Eagle Point in the other part of the winner's bracket. Talk about that here in a moment after this 1-1 pitch to Jaden Arbogast. He shows bunt, then pulls back to take ball 2 inside. Count moves to 2-1. The loser of this contest would stick around. They would play in game number 10 tomorrow afternoon, tentatively scheduled for 5 o'clock. As the bunt this time pushed out to the pitcher. Takini has to come off the mound, but there's no play to be made. A well-placed bunt for Arbogast will load the bases. Bear to third, Riley to second. And Arbogast with that bunt single. And Colin Takini in a little bit of hot water here in the bottom of the first inning as the cleanup hitter and starting pitcher Gavin Bush gets ready to step in now. Again, Eugene scored quite a few runs yesterday as well, won their game 12-2. We know both of these offenses have big outputs in them, and Eugene trying to show it off early here in the bottom of the first. The delivery from Takini is taken on the inside corner for strike one, using an off-speed pitch to get ahead. Eugene entering the tournament as the number 2 team out of Area 3. Each league getting 2 qualifiers for this year's state tournament. A line drive to right field, but winds up foul. Count moves to 0-2 to Gavin Bush. Jacoby Takini gives the sign to Colin. Sets the target as Colin comes set. Now the pitch. The 0-2. Ground ball right side into right field and a base hit. Then it kicks under the glove of Ryan Glidden. 1 run will score. 2 will score. And sticking around at third is Arbogast. And so a single plus an error will give Eugene a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the first inning. They'll keep runners at second and third, and it brings up Josh Berry. So Josh Berry, the designated hitter, he's in hitting for the catcher today for Eugene. That's Avery Kissel. But Josh Berry, looking at him, recent graduate of Junction City High School. He's class of 2025. And here's the first pitch to him. It is dropped in there for a strike. The count moves to 0-1. Takini doing a good job of getting ahead of these hitters, but the Falcons still looking for their first out. It was a leadoff single for Mason Bear. Riley followed it up by getting on base via the error. Jaden Arbogast had a single, and Gavin Bush had a single as the Falcons committed their second error of the inning on that play. As the pitch misses down below the knees, the count is 1-0. After Berry in the order, it's Jace Felipe for Eugene. Takini comes set with the 1-1 pitch to Josh Berry. This is hit hard into left field. Douglas giving chase, but it's over his head and will roll to the wall. Arbogast will score. They're waving in the courtesy runner, Broderick Poe. He will score as well from second. And the score is now 4-0 Eugene after the bases clearing double for Josh Berry. Jace Felipe now batting for the Eugene Ole Athletics, getting the start at first base today. He will be class of 2027 for North Eugene High School, the Highlanders. Bats here with a runner in scoring position. Josh Berry, and already 4 runs home this inning for Eugene. As Colin Takini looks in. Comes set with the pitch to Felipe. And the pitch. Goes slider with that first offering, gets ahead 0-1. On deck for Eugene is Caleb Van Ordstrand. Modest lead off a second for Barry. Gets an extra half step as Colin comes set. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And bunt is going to wind up foul. Count moves to 0-2 to Felipe. Felipe settles back in. The right-handed batter's box. Keeps his hands back and down back behind his helmet as he awaits the 0-2 pitch. Here it comes. That one misses in. Takini trying to jam him up on the fastball, but Felipe taken, moving the count to a ball and 2 strikes. Even more of an aggressive lead now out at second for Barry is Connor Shively just trying to make sure he's aware of his presence, but mainly playing shortstop straight away, not really in a position for a pickoff maneuver, but now he tries to race back as Takini steps off. Again, Barry had a pretty sizable lead, but no position to apply the tag there. I think Colin just trying to keep Barry honest as he comes set again with the 1-2. And another pickoff attempt, this time winds up in center field. And will wind up at third is Josh Barry on the error. Third error this inning for the Falcons, and a runner 90 feet away from scoring in a 1-2 count. Falcons having a bit of trouble here in the early going against Eugene. The only good news here is there's a lot of ball game left, and they made him go back to second, it looks like. So, no runner at third. Must have missed that opportunity. I think there was timeout called at the plate is what happened before the pickoff attempt as the batter Felipe started stepping out of the box before that pickoff attempt. And so I think that's what the verdict was. So that's why Barry's still at second to erase the error for the Falcons. Still only at 2 for this inning, but that runner remains in scoring position. The count's still a ball and 2 strikes to Jace Felipe as Colin Takini comes set. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Big strikeout there for Colin, getting the first out in the first inning. And this will bring up Caleb Van Ordstrand. Van Ordstrand is a recent graduate of Pleasant Hill High School, class of 2025 there. Bats from the left side and has an opportunity here with a runner in scoring position and just 1 gone. Colin Takini comes together for the first pitch to Van Ordstrand. Takes a look at the runner at second before delivering. This is a bunt pushed down the third base side. Safford up with it, throws on to first in time, but a sacrifice bunt moves Barry up to third. There are 2 outs. Now the runner 90 feet away for Zach Hermanson. Hermanson, the starting shortstop. He will be a class of 2027 graduate of Lowell High School. It's a small 1A, 2A school that you probably pass on Highway 58, kind of a blink and you miss it type town, but only player representing Lowell on this team. I'm sure he carries a lot of pride with that as he takes ball 1 inside. 1-0, I would compare that to someone like Colby Medeiros on the Falcons, who's the lone representative of a small school like Bonanza High School. Very cool to see some of these smaller school athletes get an opportunity here at this level as he pops one up, out of play, foul. The count moves to a ball and a strike. Zach Hermanson finished 1 for 3 yesterday, had a run scored in the win against Redmond. That was a 12-2 victory for Eugene that placed them in this winner's bracket. And right now, up 4-0 in the bottom of the first inning against the Falcons. Takini misses, I want to say, inside on that one. The count 2-1 to Hermanson. And Landon Vaughn on deck would be the number 9 hitter in this inning. Takini with the 2-1. It's hit in the air, shallow right field, bending towards foul territory. Glidden unable to get there. And that one will drop in foul territory. The count moves to 2-2. Takini having to work extra hard to get out of this inning. Like we've said, pitch count's always something to contend with when you get to these tournament settings. Trying to save pitching for later on in the weekend or whatever it might be, but Here's pitch number 26 here in only the first inning, and that one is going to be lined foul. Count remains 2-2. If Takini wants to pitch again in this tournament, I believe the magic number to keep him under, if the Falcons were make it all the way to Sunday, would be 65, if my math is correct. So something just to keep track of as we move throughout the tournament, as the 2-2 misses upstairs, 3-2. Although Falcons have got a long way to climb to only get out of this game with a win, down 4-0 in the first inning. Again, a lot of baseball to go, but a big out to get here for Colin. 3-2 count with a runner on third, 2 outs. The pitch is a ground ball towards the left side of the infield. Shively backhand, sets his feet, throws. He is safe at first. Hermanson beaten out the infield single despite a good effort by Shively. A run will score, and the Falcons trail Eugene 5-0 in the first inning. Still 2 outs, but now a runner on first for Landon Vaughn. Vaughn getting the start at second base today. He is class of 2027 at Cottage Grove High School, batting from the right side as Takini offers up the first pitch. That one is going to miss inside for a ball. Count moves to 1-0. After Vaughn, the lineup turns over for Eugene, for Mason Bear on deck. Pitch home, called a strike, runner on the move. Takini's throw down is gonna get him. Hermanson caught stealing to end the first inning, but not before Eugene scores 5 runs on 5 hits, and they don't leave any runners stranded. They lead 5-0 going into the top of the second inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
the pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
MyBasin.com is your go-to place for news,
sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
It is the top of the second inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. The Eugene Ole Athletics leading the Klamath Falls Falcons 5-0. Colin Takini, PJ Safford, Ian Meyer, the 3 due up for the Falcons in this half inning. Want to welcome in all the fans who could be watching or listening from the Eugene area today. I know they've announced our broadcast here at the stadium this afternoon here in Eagle Point. So if you're tuning in from Eugene or you're a fan of the Ole Athletics, welcome to the broadcast today. Thank you so much for joining us as we get set for the top of the second inning. Colin Takini, the Falcons starting pitcher today, will get his first at-bat and take ball 1. The count moves to 1-0 to Takini. Falcons went down in order in the top of the first inning, but find themselves down 5 to start the second. Don't have to get it all back here. That's the good part about getting down early. But you'd like to see something brewing here for the Falcons after a defensive inning in the bottom half of the first that, frankly, left some to be desired for the Falcons. 2-0 pitch on its way to Colin Takini. He takes that one for a strike. The count moves to 2-1 to the Falcons' starting pitcher. So far on the season, Colin Takini is batting .342. The 2-1 misses low. Count moves to 3-1 to Colin. Just trying to get on base. That's the key when you're looking to make a comeback like this. You can't get it all back on one swing. As Takini awaits the 3-1 pitch. That one is rolled down the third base side and will wind up foul. Count is now 3-2 to Takini. And again, PJ Safford is on deck for the Falcons. Yesterday, Colin came away with 3 runs scored and a 1-for-2 afternoon. Walked in the first, reached on an error in the third, and singled in the fourth. Here's the 3-2 again to Colin. And that one is taken upstairs for ball 4. Takini working a walk to lead off the second inning. Like I said, base runners, all the Falcons needing here to try to find a way back into this ball game, and Colin doing his job there. Looks like they are going to keep him into the game to run for himself, even as the pitcher. Don't see any courtesy runners coming out there for Colin. And P.J. Safford getting ready to step in now. P.J. Safford was the winning pitcher in yesterday's game for the Falcons. Through 3 innings in his start, struck out 7 batters. And, of course, helping his team to a shutout victory over West Albany, 13-0. Pitch on the way is going to miss low. The count is 1-0 to P.J. And the production for Safford didn't stop on the mound. Taking a look at what he did at the plate yesterday, 3 for 3 with 2 RBI and 3 runs scored. Reached base every time he came up to the plate. That's not including the walk that he had later on in the contest as well. The 1-0, we'll have to wait for it as they check on Colin over at first, but he's back safely. On deck after Safford is the designated hitter, Ian Meyer. Looking in is Gavin Bush. Kessel delivers the sign, and now Bush is set. Here's the delivery. That one's a 2-seam fastball knee-high over the plate. The count moves to a ball and a strike to Safford. Gets the sign in from Coach Sean Teeters down the third base side. Coach Teeters in the prep season earned the Skyline Conference Coach of the Year in his first season as head coach of the Henley Hornets. Assisted by Joe Takini over there on the first base side and Craig Connor in the dugout. The 1-1 on the way to Safford is an off-speed pitch that finds the outside corner. Count is a ball and 2 strikes to the Falcons' third baseman. Safford on the season batting .352. Gets on base about 45% of the time. And again, that's the number that the Falcons are looking at as they try to come back from a 5-0 deficit in the top of the second inning. Here's the pitch to Safford. He pokes it foul off to the right side. Count remains a ball and 2 strikes. Coach Teeters offering a new set of signs down there on the third base side. Coach Teeters, along with being the head coach of Henley this season, has made various coaching stops around the Klamath Basin, namely Lost River High School. He also is the leader of the DECA program at Henley High School. As get the attention back home to P.J. Safford. The 1-2 pitch on its way is going to bounce in the dirt. Count moves to 2-2. Colin Takini aboard at first. He earned his walk to lead off the top of the second inning. As P.J. Safford settles back in, the product of Klamath Union High School. Here's the 2-2. Bush takes a deep breath before kicking and delivering. A ground ball sent out towards second. Up with it is Vaughn. Throws to short for 1. The back end of a double play is there. A 4-6-3 double play. And there are quickly 2 outs in the top of the second inning. And it brings up Ian Meyer. Meyer, the designated hitter, getting a chance here. Meyer was the starting third baseman yesterday, also moved over to play a little bit of first later on in the game. Wound up with 2 RBI in a 1-for-3 day. As Meyer sends a sharp ground ball to third, Arbogast plays it cleanly, throws on to first in time, and that'll be the top of the second inning. Falcons down in order in the second. We go to the bottom half next as they trail Eugene 5-0 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at eislerkf.com. That's ISLERKF.com. eislerkf.com.
It's the bottom of the second inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons trailing the Eugene Ole Athletics 5-0. Due up this half for Eugene, it's Landon Vaughn, Mason Bear, and Stephen Riley. That's 9-1-2 for the Ole Athletics as Colin Tacchini looks to get into the second inning of his start, hoping to get out of this inning a bit cleaner than he did in the first. Falcons committed a couple of errors, but the headline there was 5 runs coming across to score. Tacchini delivers the first pitch to Landon Vaughn. It is a ball that misses high. The count is 1-0. Got some movement in the Klamath Falls bullpen. It looks like it's Hunter Glidden getting some warm-up tosses in for the boys in red. Is a fly ball to right field. Ryan Glidden moves underneath it to make the catch for the first out. And so with one gone, back to the top of the order for Eugene, it's Mason Bear, who's 1 for 1 in the contest today. He singled to lead off the offensive first inning for Eugene, would come around to score in that inning as well. Bear on the season, batting .388 for Eugene. Here's the offering from Tacchini. It's a fastball right down Main Street for strike one. After Bear, it's Stephen Riley in the order for Eugene as Tacchini delivers from the windup. The 0-1 drops in a curveball, gets ahead 0-2 against Mason Bear. Bear from North Eugene High School in the 5A classification. North Eugene finishing third out of the Midwestern League this year and 14th overall in the state of Oregon. The 0-2 pitch is fouled straight back. Count remains 0-2. The Falcons played a team from North Eugene earlier on in the summer. It was the Single A Highlanders team and was able to defeat them at Swede Johnson Stadium earlier on in the summer. As a ball is taken off the plate outside. I think outside's the only place that could have missed. It was a letter-high fastball. Tacchini's going to have to try again on the 1-2. Here it comes to Mason Bear. That one is strike 3, goes off speed, and it catches the outside corner. Down on strikes goes Mason Bear, and it brings up Stephen Riley. Riley reached on an error in the first inning and would eventually come around to score in that first inning. So 0 for 1 today, but Riley on the season batting .426. He is the fourth leading hitter on this Ole's team. As that pitch misses upstairs, the count is 1-0. After Riley in the order is Jaden Arbogast. Colin getting ready to deliver the 1-0 pitch. Here it comes. That one is rolled out in front of the plate. Jacoby comes out of the catcher's stance, up with it onto first. And this time it's the Oles who go down in order in the second inning, but they carry a 5-run lead to the top of the third next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Falls Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Falls Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see two things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys and I want to see my high school. And those are the two memories that stick out the most to me.
It's the top of the third inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. My name is Josh Eldridge, broadcasting to you from the yard at Eagle Point High School, the site of the Oregon Single A Legion Baseball State Tournament. In the winner's bracket, the Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Eugene Ole Athletics 5-0. Due up this half for the Falcons is 7, 8, and 9 in their order. Corbin Hamilton, Carson Sims, and Ryan Douglas. And they are still working against Gavin Bush, the starter for Eugene, as Hamilton settles in now for the Falcons. Yesterday, Corbin Hamilton only was able to get a couple of at-bats, wound up hitless. He struck out and reached on an error in his 2 tries yesterday. Today, he takes strike 1 in his first at-bat. Hamilton re-entered the game later, though, and recorded the final 3 outs on the mound for the Falcons as they wound up with that 13-0 victory over West Albany. Waves and misses at the 0-1 pitch. Hamilton falls behind here 0-2. Corbin settles back in after readjusting his batting gloves. Keeps his bat relaxed on his back shoulder away from the 0-2. It's a slider that drifts away. Count moves to a ball and 2 strikes to Corbin. On the season, Hamilton bats .339 for the Falcons. The 1-2 on the way from Gavin Bush. It is hit into right field, and that'll get down for a single. Hamilton, a big turnaround first, but he'll stay there as a line drive the opposite way gets the Falcons their first base hit of the ball game in the top of the 3rd inning. And it will bring up Carson Sims. Sims getting the start in center field this afternoon for the Falcons. He's the team's leading hitter, batting .457 on the summer. He's also the team leader in extra base hits, and he extended that lead in that category yesterday with a solid performance against West Albany. Here's the first pitch to Carson. He waves and misses at it. The count is 0-1. Sims finished 1 for 3 in yesterday's contest, but his 2 RBI double in the 4th inning knocked in a couple of runs, like I said. He also had a sacrifice fly in the 3rd inning. And that double he had in the 4th was also our Pacific Power play of the day. Helped put that game officially out of reach for the Falcons. A pitch in the dirt gets away from the catcher, Kessel, and it allows Corbin Hamilton to move into scoring position, and the count will be 2-1 to Carson Sims. Speaking of Pacific Power, I want to give him a quick shout, who came aboard for this season of Falcons baseball as one of our broadcast partners. Thank you very much to Pacific Power. Made a big donation to Friends of the Children and the Klamath County Rotary just a few weeks ago, along with the Oregon Tech Foundation. And they continue to support our coverage of local sports on mybasin.com. The 1-1, Sims takes it upstairs. The count here reads 2-1. I've got 3-1 after that ball missed up. Let's see what the umpire says. It doesn't look like he has much to say, so I'm going to match what the scoreboard has here and call it a 2-1 count to Carson Sims. Gavin Bush delivers, and Sims fouls it off. The count is now even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out and a runner on first. It's Corbin Hamilton. The Falcons trail the Ole Athletics 5-0 in the top of the 3rd inning of the winner's bracket of the Oregon Single-A Legion State Tournament. Sims back in the right-handed batter's box, the product of Henley High School, just wrapped up his sophomore season. Bush looking in, gets the sign from Kessel. Kessel gives the target, sets up outside. The pitch is waved at and missed. Sims chases the upstairs fastball for strike 3, and this will bring up Ryan Douglas. Douglas at the plate yesterday finished 1 for 1. His base hit came in the 3rd inning. Otherwise, he walked a pair of times in the win against West Albany. The story for Douglas, though, was if his foot was going to be okay. A bunch of foul balls that he rattled off his shin during the game yesterday. I think it was 2 or 3 of them. But he looks to be okay here and batting in a pretty big spot near the halfway point of this ball game. He takes ball 1 inside, 1-0. And the Falcons are not facing elimination today. They won their first game of the tournament. The 1-0 is swung on and missed. Count moves to 1-1. Loser of this game will play the Dowls, I believe, tomorrow. Looks like that's how it all lines up, which is scheduled for the 2 o'clock game. As that pitch misses outside. Count is 2-1. The winner would play the late game tomorrow night at 8 o'clock against the winner of Central Point and Eagle Point. Now, that game starts at 8 o'clock this evening here at the Yard. Count is 2-1 to Ryan Douglas. Corbin Hamilton, not much of a lead off of second. The pitch home is going to miss outside, and the count moves to 3-1 to Douglas. After Douglas, Falcons go back to the top of their order for Max Price, who waits on deck. Bush looking in and comes together for the 3-1 pitch to Douglas. It is rolled to first. Felipe is going to come up with it, touch the bag for the out, but advancing to third is Corbin Hamilton. So 2 away and a runner at third for Max Price. Price grounded out his first time up. That was in the first inning. On the season, Price is batting .344, has 21 RBI. And again, as you continue to move throughout the game, Falcons down 5, but every little bit of offense can become important. And the fewer runners you can leave left in scoring position, the better. The Falcons have had trouble with that at times this season. Look back to a couple of their key games throughout the year. There haven't been a ton of losses for the Falcons. Again, they're 31, 8, and 1 on the season, but you look at those 8 losses, a lot of them came in close games where the Falcons wound up leaving a lot of runners on. So converting here in an early opportunity with a runner at third is going to be important, not only for the score itself, but for the team's confidence as well. As the 1-0 misses away, the count is 2-0 to Max Price as Connor Shively waits on deck for the Falcons. Here's the offering, the 2-0. That one will miss outside. I look back to a date the last time the Falcons were at this ballpark when they were playing the North Jackson Royals. The nightcap of that game was a 2-1 extra innings loss for the Falcons. In that game, they left 7 runners in scoring position. The 3-0 pitch, that one is right over the plate. Count moves to 3-1 to Price. So that's just one example of what I was talking about. You look back to some of their games in Alaska, too, same thing. So knocking in Corbin Hamilton, who stands at third, vital here for the Falcons. The 3-1 to Price, hit in the air, but foul. Count is full, 3-2. Price settles back in. Getting the start at second base today, product of Henley High School. Bush working out of the windup with the runner on third. Here he comes with the 3-2. Price pops it up. It's in foul territory. Could be playable for the catcher, Kessel. And, in fact, it will go out of play in the Falcons' bullpen. Count remains 3-2. Price putting up a battle out there, not letting Bush get out of this inning simply. Corbin Hamilton led off the frame with a single, advanced on a wild pitch to second, and then on the ground out from Douglas to third. The 3-2 is a line drive, right field base hit, and that will score the Falcons' first run of the ball game. An RBI single for Max Price makes it 5-1. The Ole Athletics still lead, but the Falcons are on the board. It brings up Connor Shively. Shively 0 for 1 in the contest, but he hit a hard line drive to third base his first time up. That was caught by Arbogast. Can't really hit a ball much harder and then get out in the process. So Shively looking to make good contact again here in this at-bat. He'll take ball 1 low. The count is 1-0. Shively's the kind of guy who can get real streaky for these Falcons in a good way. When he gets hot, he stays hot. As that pitch finds the outside, count is 1-1. I recall a moment during the prep season where Shively reached base in 11 straight at-bats. Not games, 11 straight at-bats. He's hoping to start a new streak like that. Here's the 0-1. Shively, line drive, shortstop. It's in and out of the glove of the shortstop. Throw to second, recover, and the Ole Athletics can't make the play. And Connor Shively reaches first. Advancing to second is Max Price. 2 men on now for Jacoby Tacchini. Shively picking up the single there. Tacchini's 0 for 1 in the contest. He grounded out in the first. Well, they're actually going to score that an error against Eugene, so I'll go ahead and make a change to my book as well. It's kind of on the fence, but we'll go with what the official scorer says here. Regardless, the runners remain where they are. First pitch to Tacchini's a sharp bouncer to third. The third baseman, Arbogast, knocks it down and beats Price to the third base bag. That will end the inning. But the Falcons do earn a run in the third. They scored on 2 hits. They leave 2 men stranded, and they trail 5-1 as we go to the bottom half next on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
And we welcome you back to Klamath Falls Falcons baseball on mybasin.com and 104.3 and 960 Sports. New pitcher on the mound for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Looks like that's Hunter Glidden. Wrapping up his warm-up tosses out there. Glidden making his 10th appearance of the summer. It's his 4th in relief. He's pitched 29 in the third innings thus far, giving up 31 hits, 10 runs, although just 6 of them earned. He's walked 11 and he struck out 23 batters. He carries a 3-0 record and an ERA of 1.43. He comes in relief of Colin Tacchini. We'll close the book on Colin here in just a moment. But Colin returns to second base. Max Price bumped out to center. Carson Sims moved over towards right. I believe that's Carson and right. I want to double check that, but I believe Hunter Glidden has come in the lineup and replaced Ryan Glidden, as best I can tell so far, as long as Carson is in right field. So just want to make sure of that. Regardless, Jaden Arbogast, Gavin Bush, and Josh Berry, the 3 men due up this half inning for the Eugene Ole Athletics. Arbogast singled and scored his first time up back in the first inning. Our score right now, 5-1. Eugene Ole Athletics in front of the Klamath Falls Falcons. Here's the first offering to Arbogast. Glidden finds the zone on the first offering. Count moves to 0-1. Like I said, Hunter is coming in relief of Colin Tacchini, who pitched the first 2 innings of the start for the Falcons, as Glidden finds the zone on the 0-1 pitch. Another firm fastball gets across the plate. Colin gave up 5 hits and 5 runs, although just 3 of them earned, and he struck out 2 in his start. Would be on the hook for the loss unless the Falcons can correct course down 4 runs in the third inning. Glidden misses high and tight there. The count is a ball and 2 strikes. Arbogast, then Bush, who waits on deck. Here is the 1-2. That is swung on and missed. A big strikeout to lead off the bottom of the third inning. Down goes Arbogast, and it brings up the aforementioned Gavin Bush. Bush on the season this year for Eugene is batting .375. He's got 18 hits in 48 tries this summer, one of them coming earlier when he had a 2 RBI single in the first inning, and he also scored a run later on in that frame. Here's the pitch from Glidden, pulls back the speed a little bit to produce the swing and the miss, and gets ahead of Bush 0-1. Josh Berry is on deck for the Ole Athletics here in the bottom of the third inning in a 5-1 ball game where Eugene leads the Falcons. The 0-1 pitch looked at for strike 2. A good fastball just beneath the letters over the plate. Glidden's doing a good job through the first handful of pitches locating that 2-seamer. If he can keep that up, he'll be in good shape. Here's the 0-2. That one bounces to the plate. Count is 1-2 now. And just confirmed that is Sims in right field, so my defense was lined up correctly. Tacchini's moved to second, Price out to center, and Sims in right. Pitch is hit in the air towards the right side, shallow right field. Sims comes in to make the call and make the catch for the out. So now with quickly 2 gone in the bottom of the third inning, Josh Berry gets a chance now for the Eugene Ole Athletics. Take you back to the first inning when Berry hit a 2 RBI double that wound up scoring a pair of runs. He also scored a run himself in the 5-run first inning for Eugene. That's where they've earned all their offense so far. Here's the pitch on the way from Hunter. Tries to go upstairs that fastball again, but misses. And the count is 0-1. If Berry finds a way to extend the inning for Eugene, it's Jace Felipe who is on deck. Here's the 1-0 from Hunter Glidden. That one is popped out of play, and the count moves to 1-1. Berry on the season is the team's second leading hitter, batting .447. on the summer for the Oles. The 1-1 to Barry. Here it comes. It's going to miss wide. The count is 2-1. Eugene 22-6 on the summer. They've won the third most games in the state of Oregon in single-A Legion baseball behind the Falcons, who are number 2, and the Central Point Comets, who have won the most games this year, as the 2-1 misses outside, 3-1. Central Point advancing after a nail-biter last night, 1-0 against the Portland team, the Everett Street Mechanics, a 10-inning 1-0 win for Central Point. Here's a ground ball out towards short. Shively makes the play near the gap. The throw takes Hamilton off the bag, but Corbin applies the tag to the runner Barry, and that will do it in the third inning. The Ole Athletics down in order, and we go to the fourth in a 5-1 ball game on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and Little League teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account, to retirement planning, and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
And I welcome you back to the Yard at Eagle Point High School, the site of the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. The Eugene Ole Athletics leading the Klamath Falls Falcons through the first 3 innings, 5-1. For Eugene, 5 runs comes on 5 hits. They've committed 1 error, and they have yet to leave a runner on base. For Klamath Falls, 1 run on 2 hits. They've committed 2 errors, and they have left 2 runners on base in the contest. As we get ready for this top of the 4th inning, it'll be the middle of the Falcons' order. Colin Tacchini, P.J. Safford, and Ian Meyer. As they look to go to work against Gavin Bush, we'll see what kind of adjustments the Falcons make the second time around in the order. Colin Tacchini waits the first offering. It drifts away. Count moves to 1-0. And Colin was the starting pitcher today for the Falcons, has since taken over duties at second base. The 1-0 on the way to Tacchini will miss low and away. Count is 2-0. Colin walked his first time up. That was in the second inning, but he was left stranded in that inning. So here's the 2-0 on the way to Colin. That one will miss below the knees over the plate, but again low to Tacchini, and he gets ahead 3-0. P.J. Safford again waiting on deck for the Falcons. Bush from the windup. High leg kick and delivers, and he gets across strike 1 to Colin Tacchini. A fastball about knee-high on the outside corner, and Bush begins to battle back into this at-bat. Tacchini keeps his hands low in the right-handed batter's box, in around his letters, looks to tighten up the swing on the 3-1, as that one is another fastball. Catches the outside corner, and after falling behind 3-0, Bush does battle back, and the count is full. Tacchini will choke up a little bit on the bat here in the 2-strike count. The 3-2 is bounced over to third on 2 hops. Arbogast plays it. The throw on to first is in time. A close play, but Tacchini just barely caught there at first. And it will bring up P.J. Safford with 1 gone in the top of the 4th inning. Safford 0 for 1 in the game thus far, grounded into a double play in the second inning, but now hitting with the bases empty and 1 out in the 4th. Safford on the season batting .352 for the Falcons. Here's the pitch to P.J. He's first pitch taken for a strike. Count is 0-1. Looked like a slider running away from the right-hander. Might have been an inch or so off the plate, but Safford going to have to protect that outside corner. Down in the count 0-1. Bush delivers. Safford out in front of the off-speed pitch that time, falls behind 0-2. Ian Meyer is on deck for the Falcons. Safford settles back into the right-handed batter's box, down 0-2. Bush delivers. Safford stays alive, fouls it off, and the count remains 0-2. PJ back in. Now ready to go once more on the 0-2. Bush tries to find that put-away pitch, but Safford continues to stay alive. Puts together good at-bats, does Safford. Rarely going to go down without a fight. And he's making Bush earn it here in an 0-2 count with one gone in the top of the fourth inning. The Falcons trail Eugene 5-1. Here's the 0-2 again to Safford. That one's taken high and away, and the count moves to 1-2 to P.J. Safford. Again, going back to his outing on the mound yesterday. Did so in his 3 innings pitched, only 42 pitches thrown in that contest. The 1-2 is rolled right back out to the mound. Bush fields it, tossed to first in time, and that'll do it for Safford in the 4th inning. It brings up Ian Meyer, though, just to finish that thought about PJ, as we talked about pitch counts earlier on in the game. Safford able to keep his pitch count down in the start yesterday, makes him eligible to pitch again later on in the tournament beginning tomorrow. It just depends on when the Falcons want to use him. As here, it looks like the coach for Eugene, that would be KJ Strickland, makes his way out and will make a pitching change with 2 gone in the top of the 4th inning, which means we will step aside and give the new arm time to warm up, as well as introduce you to him on the other side. The Klamath Falls Falcons trail to Eugene Ole Athletics 5-1 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
It's the top of the 4th inning as we continue on. 2 outs in the 5-1 ball game, and a new arm on the mound for the Eugene Ole Athletics is Stephen Riley, making his 7th appearance overall on the summer, his 4th in relief. Riley's pitched 14 2/3 innings previous, giving up 12 hits, 7 runs, although just 2 of them earned. He's walked 10 and struck out 19, and has an ERA sub-1, .955. As he will get Ian Meyer as his first task in relief. And Stephen Riley comes in from playing right field. I believe the pitcher, Bush, has gone out to right field. We'll have to double-check that as we find out who exactly went where for the Ole Athletics. But I do know Riley came in from right field to pitch, and Bush has stayed in the ball game. Just don't know which outfield position he's assumed just yet. But we'll get that in a moment as that pitch is called a strike. The count is 0-1. Looking here, it looks like Bush, well, according to our scores here, it looks like he has exited the game. And maybe that's the case. Van Ordstand has moved over to right. Here's a fly ball poked out to him. Comes in and makes the catch. We'll just reset the Eugene 9 when they come back out onto the field in the top of the 5th. But at first, as we go to the bottom half of the 4th, it is a 5-1 Eugene lead on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
It is the bottom of the fourth inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Eugene Ole Athletics 5-1. Due up this half inning for the Oles is J.C. Felipe, Caleb Van Ordstrand, and Zach Hermanson against Hunter Glidden. In the second inning of his relief appearance, he uses the fastball to get ahead 1-0. Felipe struck out his first time up. That was back in the first inning. As Glidden delivers the 0-1 pitch. That one will also find the zone. Another good fastball there by Glidden. He's ahead 0-2 against Felipe. Glidden working predominantly out of the stretch, as he usually does. The 0-2 is looked at for ball one. Just missed off the outside. Felipe on the season for Eugene, batting .317 on the summer. Playing first base today and awaits the 1-2 pitch on the way from Hunter Glidden, who comes together, looks in, and delivers. Fouled straight back. Count remains 1-2. A couple of teams have already gone home at the Single-A Oregon Legion State Tournament. That would be the Everett Street Mechanics, who lost to the Dowls, which would be... that is the Portland team, the Columbia Gorge Hustlers. It was a 17-4 win for Columbia Gorge. They advanced, still on the loser's side of the bracket, but they will play the loser of this game tomorrow at 2. At least that's how the schedule lines up now. Glidden delivers a pitch that misses outside. The count is 2-2. The winner of this game will advance to play the winner of our nightcap this evening between Central Point and Eagle Point. And the loser of that game will advance to play Redmond as the 2-2 pitch swung on and missed, strike three. And a strikeout there for Glidden to lead off the bottom of the fourth inning. Second time today that Felipe has gone down on strikes. There's one gone in the fourth, and it brings up Caleb Van Ordstrand. Redmond won earlier today as they defeated West Albany 3-2 to survive another day in the tournament. Redmond had to come from behind to win that game earlier today. And so the team that the Falcons defeated yesterday, West Albany, they have, like I said, been eliminated from state title contention. The 1-0 is going to miss outside, 2-0 now. And if you look even further ahead, the winner of this tournament will advance to the Single-A Northwest Regional Tournament, which takes place in Idaho. As the 2-0 pitch is called a strike on the inside, 2-1. The regional tournament runs from August 7th through the 11th in Burley, Idaho, I believe, is where the tournament is going to be taking place. The 2-1 swung on and missed, 2-2. The reigning Oregon State champs are the Central Point Comets. And again, winner here has a very good chance at playing Central Point in the games tomorrow. Count is 3-2 to Caleb Van Ordstrand, who laid down a sacrifice bunt back in the first inning. Here he swings and misses at strike three. Big time strikeout there for Hunter Glidden. Back-to-back Ks to start the fourth inning. And in comes Zach Hermanson. Hermanson singled in a run his last time up, had that RBI, but he was caught stealing to end the first inning. Now he bats with nobody on and 2 out. The pitch from Glidden called a strike. Glidden has been around the strike zone today, and I think that helps him get that outside strike call on that first pitch to Hermanson. Glidden gets ahead 0-1. Here's the pitch from Glidden. That one misses below the knees. The count is 1-0. Hermanson, talked about him. He attended Lowell High School in the prep season. The pitch is hit in the air, shallow center field. Could be trouble. Sims racing in, slides for it. Pardon me, that was Price, but he comes up empty with it. Price gave a solid effort, but that one just dropped in front of him as he slid for it. And that'll be a 2-out single for Zach Hermanson, and it'll bring up Landon Vaughn. So with Hermanson on first, Vaughn to step in now. Vaughn, the team leading hitter for Eugene. In the 9-hole, he bats .479. And he fouls that one back. The count is 0-1. Although today he's 0 for 1 in the contest. He flew out to right field to lead off the second inning. Vaughn, along with leading the team in average, also leads the team in singles and is towards the top of the team in runs scored with 23 runs scored on the season. And 33 of his 34 hits have been singles this summer. The 0-1. That's going to miss up. Count moves to 1-1, as I think they might have thought Hermanson could be on the move. That upstairs pitch sort of functioning as a pitch out for Jacoby Takini as he received it standing up. But now Glidden going to come back in the zone for the 1-1, although it just misses low. Count is 2-1 to Landon Vaughn. Vaughn from Cottage Grove High School in the Eugene area. Cottage Grove finishing last in the 4A Sky M League this past prep season in the co-op with Yoncalla. They finished 0-12 in league play, 7-19 overall on the season. The 3-1 pitch is going to miss low, and that'll be a 5-pitch walk delivered to Landon Vaughn, and they go back to the top of the order for Eugene. It's Mason Baer. Advancing to second is Hermanson. Baer is 1 for 2 in the contest today. After singling in the first inning and coming around to score, he struck out in the second. Safford playing in on the cut of the grass. Hamilton at first playing behind the runner. Here's the pitch from Glidden. That one's going to miss off the plate in. Count is 1-0. Earlier I did see Colby Medeiros getting some warm-up tosses in for the Falcons. But I think it's too early to pull the plug on Glidden just yet. Of course, he's pitched well through the first inning and 2/3, just looking for that final out. The 1-0 finds the zone again. The count is even to Mason Baer with Stephen Riley waiting on deck for the Oles. Glidden looking in to get the sign from Takini and comes set. Here's the pitch. 1-1 ground ball towards short. Shively, it's going to eat him up and wind up in center field. They're waving Hermanson around. The throw home is not going to be in time. Now they throw to third. Safford is going to apply the tag and get the now lead runner, Vaughn, trying to go from second to third. But a run does score on the RBI single from Mason Baer. And that will make it a 6-1 ball game as we go to the fifth on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 120,000 participants here in Oregon who take part in high school sports or activities.
At mybasin.com, we bring you the power of local radio,
The pace and reach of social media,
the information of 24-hour news,
and the excitement of local sports.
We do this with a team of radio professionals that is second to none.
Klamath Falls is a community that we love and a place that we are proud to call home.
Klamath Falls deserves a media group that is as committed to you as you are to Klamath Falls.
mybasin.com is your go-to place for news,
Sports, events, and everything going on at home in Klamath Falls.
Getting ready for the top of the fifth inning here from Eagle Point High School in northern Jackson County, Oregon for the Single A State Tournament on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Eugene Ole Athletics 5-1 in the top of the fifth inning. It'll be Corbin Hamilton, Carson Sims, and Ryan Douglas due up this half for the Falcons. Let's reset the defensive nine for Eagle Point as we get set for the top of the fifth. That'd be Avery Kessel behind the dish, Arbogast at third, Bush at short, Hermanson at second, and Felipe at first. We'll have Vaughn in left field, Bayer in center, and Van Ordstrand in right. So fully resetting things for Eugene there as he kind of lost track of it when they made that pitching change, but there you go. Stephen Riley, the right-hander, trying to get things ready. So you got a issue with the music. All right. Looks like we are ready to go as Corbin Hamilton gets ready to step in now. Hamilton 1 for 1 in the contest. He scored a run after reaching base in the third inning. Here's the pitch. It's a ground ball sent out towards short. Took a tough hop on Bush, and Hamilton's going to be able to leg out the base hit. There is it. Took a tough hop on Bush. We'll see how they wind up scoring that play as Hamilton reaches. It brings up Carson Sims. I think they scored that in E6 on the ground ball to Bush. And so now Carson Sims, a chance to hit now. He's 0 for 1 in the contest. Sims struck out in the third inning, but Coach Sean Teeter's given him a set of signs. The Eugene infield preparing for a bunt, and the middle infield preparing for a double play ground ball as Hamilton takes a modest lead off of first. And Riley comes set. The delivery to Sims, it comes in and hits him. And so now there's 2 on and nobody out in the top of the fifth inning. So in steps Ryan Douglas for the Klamath Falls Falcons. He's 0 for 1 in this game thus far. He grounded out in the third inning. Ryan Douglas, product of Henley High School, is familiar with the right-hander on the mound, Stephen Riley. Riley, of course, a product of Marist Catholic High School, and with Ryan Douglas being from Henley, those two teams met in the Oregon 4A state semifinal this year as Douglas pops the first pitch foul on the bunt attempt, 0-1. It was the second season in a row that Henley was eliminated by Marist Catholic in the semifinals. And so looking for a little bit of retribution in this Legion State tournament. But so far it's Eugene who's gotten the better of the Falcons through the first 4 innings, up 5-1. As a pitch misses high and into Douglas, gets by the catcher and both runners advance. Hamilton to third, Sims to second. Now 2 men in scoring position for Douglas in a 1-1 count. Things are certainly going to change. I don't think they're going to have Douglas try to lay down a bunt unless they try to squeeze those runs in. Back to the top of the order next for Max Price and the Klamath Falls Falcons as Douglas steps out. The catcher, Kessel, going to go out and have a quick chat with his pitcher, Riley. Gives us an opportunity to recognize some of our sponsors on mybasin.com. Sponsors like Klamath Falls Subaru, who through the Subaru Love Promise and Subaru Share the Love events has donated thousands of dollars to dozens of hometown charities. Check them out on Washburn Way. They're comfortable and not corporate. Stop by and say hi at Klamath Falls Subaru. All right, the 1-1 pitch to Ryan Douglas. It is a fly ball set out to center field. Bayer is under it and makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is Corbin Hamilton. Staying at second is Carson Sims, but a sacrifice fly and an RBI makes it 6-2 in favor of the Eugene Ole Athletics as Hamilton touches home and Douglas earns the RBI. Max Price hitting now with a runner in scoring position. Price 1 for 2 in the contest thus far after grounding out in the first inning. He knocked in a run on a single in the third. Now a similar opportunity here in the 5th inning. Pitch to Price is going to miss low, below the knees. Count is 1-0. Price settling back in. So you take a look at Max Price on the season, who bats .344 for the Falcons. Riley's going to step off before the offering to Price, as Connor Shively is the one who waits on deck for the Falcons. Trying to get some of these runs back. Already got the one that they gave up in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Still trailing by 4 as that pitch misses high and in. 2-0 the count to Max Price. Again, nobody's facing elimination here, but would like to stay on the winner's end of the bracket. The pitch is going to miss in. 3-0. Price is able to get on base. Let's see on the 3-0 pitch. That one is right over the middle. The count moves to 3-1. Top of the order. Hasn't been the productive half. It's been the bottom half of the order for the Falcons that have done the damage the first 2 times through the order, but now 3rd time through. See if the top 3 guys, Price, Shively, and Tacchini, can finish out the rally that those bottom 3 guys started earlier in the inning. Price ahead 3-1. Riley taking his time after coming set. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Price now full in the count, 3-2. Price, another one of those guys from Henley High School who was eliminated from state championship contention by Marist Catholic in the springtime. Price looking for that retribution against Stephen Riley in the 3-2 count. Here it is. Price lifts one in the air, foul. Count will remain 3-2. Talked about Marist defeating Henley in the semifinal. Marist would go on in the state championship game at the 4A classification and be defeated by Pendleton Nick Yahweh, that co-op. And Price takes a pitch below the knees, rung him up for strike 3. Less than satisfied with that call, but Price down looking for the second out in the 5th inning. And so now it's Connor Shively to step in now for the Falcons. Shively 0 for 2 today, but he's reached base once. Reached on an error in the 3rd inning. Was left stranded, though, in that frame. Otherwise, he lined out in the 1st. Here's the pitch to Shively. That one misses wide. The count is 1-0. Shively, the team leader in runs batted in this summer. Shively has 43 RBI, and one man out there waiting for him in scoring position is Carson Sims. Here's the 1-0 on the way to Shively. That one misses upstairs. The count is 2-0. After Shively in the order, it's Jacoby Tacchini. Shively settles back in as Riley comes set, takes a look at Sims out at second. The second baseman Hermanson trying to hold him there as that pitch misses high, and the count 3-0 to Shively. Again, the ticket here just trying to get guys on base here with 2 outs. Set up the middle of the order, see if you can continue this 2-out rally. Sims reached after being hit by a pitch earlier in the inning. The 3-0 is over the middle of the plate, 3-1. Boy, that was a really good pitch to hit for Shively. Sometimes you want to take in a 3-0 count just to prove the pitcher can get across the zone, but that might be the best pitch you get to see this at-bat for Shively. Here's the 3-1. That one misses wide, won't matter much as Shively's able to work the walk anyway, and it brings up Jacoby Tacchini with 2 men on and 2 men out. Tacchini 0 for 2 today. Grounded out twice so far in the contest, once in the 1st and once in the 3rd. Jacoby looking to come up in a big spot here for his squad. Bats .362 on the summer. That's 3rd best on the team and has 38 RBI. Yesterday, Jacoby Tacchini came up in a similar situation. As the first pitch misses upstairs, the count is 1-0. Tacchini, after starting the game hitless, came up in the 4th inning and had a 2 RBI single in that contest. I'm sure Jacoby would love to replicate that performance here in the top of the 5th inning with his team down 4. Here's the pitch to Takini. It's looked at for strike one. The count's even. Now to the Falcons catcher. Colin Takini waits on deck for the Falcons if Jacoby's able to extend this inning. The 1-1. Riley shakes off the first offering from Kessel. Now comes set. And the pitch on the way to Jacoby is going to be fouled off. Count is 1-2. Looked like he checked his swing, and it might have hit off the knob of his bat or just barely caught the back end of the barrel. Regardless, it's now a 2-strike count to Jacoby Takini. Back in the right-handed batter's box, Takini awaits the offering from the right-hander Stephen Riley. Second baseman Hermanson over there to keep Sims close to second. Now the pitch home. Takini stays alive. Fouls that one off, remains in a 1-2 count. Jacoby Takini, again, along with those 38 RBI, also towards the top of the team in walks. He leads the team in being hit by the pitch 11 times so far this summer. Catcher gives the sign. Kessel sets up in, and timeout is called before Takini gets the pitch. I think it was Jacoby who called time anyway. Riley really taking his time out there on the mound. We talk about pace for pitchers quite a lot. Riley going with the more slow, deliberate pace. Counters what the Falcons like to do, which is working quick. Riley misses inside on the 1-2, and the count is now even. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sims at second, aboard at first is Shively. There's 2 gone in the top of the 5th inning of a 6-2 ball game that the Falcons trail Eugene. Takini, a ground ball out towards second. Up with it is Hermanson. The throw on to first is there, and that'll do it in the 5th inning. But the Falcons do score 1. No base hits required. They leave a couple of guys stranded. They trail 6-2 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Time to reclaim your health and your autonomy. At Heartfelt OBGYN, they focus on you. Their evidence-based approach to care means fewer office visits and a targeted treatment plan to directly address your specific needs. They believe in solutions for their patients, not the industry's profit margin. The providers at Heartfelt OBGYN are committed to serving the community and giving back to the basin. Find them at heartfeltobgyn.com. Heartfelt, because you deserve to be in control of your body and your informed choices.
At Eisler Group, they are confident that their tax and accounting professionals are experienced and trained like no one else. From individual, corporate, partnership, estate, trust, Eisler Group stands ready to help you with all of your financial, tax, and accounting needs. They have been in Klamath Falls for nearly 60 years, raising their families here and being part of the community. The Eisler Group can be found at EislerKF.com. That's ISLERKF.com. EislerKF.com.
We're getting set now for the bottom of the 5th inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Eugene Ole Athletics a score of 6-2 in the winner's bracket of the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament. Hunter Glidden still on the bump for the Falcons. He'll have to go through 2, 3, and 4 in the order for Eugene. The first pitch to Stephen Riley bounces to the plate, and the count is 1-0. So Riley will be followed by Jaden Arbogast in this half inning. Glidden comes set, and here's the pitch. It's a line drive to short. It gets by Shively and into left. And Riley is able to reach base there, and it brings up Arbogast. I think that's going to go in as a base hit, it looks like. As a courtesy runner comes in for the pitcher, that's Broderick Poe from North Eugene High School. They're aboard at first. And nope, they're going to score that in E6. That's probably what it should have been there. And Arbogast bats now with a runner on and nobody out. Here's the pitch from Glidden. Bunt down the third base side. Safford comes up with it, rifles the throw to first, and it short hops Hamilton and unable to scoop it out of the dirt. And that will allow Arbogast to reach first. Riley advances to second. And now there's 2 on, and still nobody out in the inning. Back-to-back errors to start the frame. Looks like Colby Medeiros back getting some tosses for the Falcons in the first base bullpen, as Gavin Bush gets ready to step in now for the Ole Athletics. He's 1 for 2 today. Bush singled in 2 runs in the first and flew out in the third. Here's the pitch from Glidden. This time he bunts again. Another chance for Safford. Safford bobbles it and is unable to make the play. 3 straight errors will load the bases for the Falcons in the 5th. And now it'll bring up Josh Berry. Berry hit a 2 RBI double in the first inning. Came around to score. Otherwise, he grounded out in the third. Small ball hurting the Falcons here in this inning. We'll see what they decide to do now with the bases loaded. The pitch. Line drive into left field. That gets down in front of Douglas. 1 run scores, and that will be all. Good throw in from Douglas. Halts Arbogast at third. But Riley comes in to score. Bush advances to second on the RBI single from Josh Berry, and it makes it a 7-2 ball game. Still nobody out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jace Phillips, a chance to bat now for the Ole Athletics. He's 0 for 2 today. Couple of strikeouts for him came in the first and 4th innings. Pitch on the way from Glidden. It's strike 1 on the inside corner, and Felipe gets ahead 0-1. Caleb Van Oordstrand is on deck for the Oles. Glidden comes set, takes a look around, sees himself flanked by Athletics. Now the pitch, drops in a curveball, gets ahead 0-2. Big pitch there by Hunter, who really through no fault of his own finds himself in a bases-loaded situation with nobody out. Glidden looking in, gets the sign from Takini, and delivers the pitch. Strike 3, big punch out there for Glidden, showing a lot of composure to get that strikeout, the first out in this 5th inning. That'll also give Felipe the hat trick today, 3 strikeouts and 3 tries for him. So here's Caleb Van Oordstrand, who's 0 for 1 in the contest today. But before we get to see him, Craig Connor's going to come on out of the dugout, and it looks like he's making a change in favor of Colby Medeiros. I'm thinking it's going to be a straight-across swap, but we'll make sure of that coming up as we take a break here on the broadcast on 104.3 and 960 Sports. It's a 7-2 ball game, and the Falcons trail Eugene in the bottom of the 5th inning. Back after this on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
We drive play an important part of our everyday. Whether we're going to work, dropping off the kids at school, or maybe even on that first date. Vehicles we drive play an important role in all of that. And that's why at Klamath Subaru, we are so passionate about getting you the long-lasting vehicle that you will love. When you come to our store, you'll find that every department is dedicated to caring for our customers, which is why I can proudly send anyone here knowing that they will be treated like family. Stop by and say hi. When you come to Klamath Subaru, you're coming home.
Sports was kind of what defined me as a person. I loved to play every sport I could possibly play. The Abbeys was really the family stomping ground for all of our community. Saturday afternoon soccer tournaments, we'd head over to Abbeys afterwards. And then when we got up into middle school, on our way home, we'd stop at Abbeys after basketball games. When I go home, I want to see 2 things when I drive through Winston. I want to see my Abbeys, and I want to see my high school. And those are the 2 memories that stick out the most to me.
Colby Medeiros, the right-hander from Bonanza, into the game for the Klamath Falls Falcons as he wraps up his warm-up tosses, coming in relief for Hunter Glidden. Just as I thought, just a straight-across swap and a new pitcher into the game for the Falcons. As we take a look at the numbers for Medeiros on the season, this will be his 10th appearance on the summer and his 7th in relief. He's pitched 27 1/3 innings, giving up 45 hits, 31 runs, 27 earned. Medeiros has an ERA of 6.90 and a record of 3-3 coming into today's game. He inherits a bases loaded situation. Barry is aboard at first. At second is Gavin Bush. Pardon me, it's Poe at second. And Arbogast is at third. Caleb Van Oorstrand at the plate. He'll take strike one from Medeiros. There's only one out in a 7-2 ball game in which the Ole Athletics lead the Falcons in the Single-A Oregon Legion Baseball State Tournament. The 0-1 on the way. That one is going to drop in for a strike. A nice curveball finds the inside corner against Oorstrand, and Medeiros skids ahead 0-2. Oorstrand is 0 for 1 today after laying down a sacrifice in the first. He struck out in the fifth. The Falcons defense comes in an 0-2 count with one out. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to short. Shively's going to go home with it. Takini gets one. They're not going to go to get the runner at first, but they cut down the lead runner. Now there's two outs. The bases remain loaded, but the score remains 7-2. So Oorstrand will reach on the fielder's choice. So there's two outs, and it brings up Zach Hermanson. Hermanson 2 for 2 today. He singled in each the first and fourth innings. And when he got on base in the first, he brought in a run home with them. Here a ground ball to Safford. Safford bobbles it at first, but recovers for the throw. It's going to short hop Hamilton and get by him. One run comes in to score, two in to score. They're trying to get him all the way around. The throw is not going to be in time. And Oorstrand scores all the way from first on the error. It is now... Score is now 10-2 Falcons. 10-2 Falcons trail Eugene as Bush scored, Barry scored, and Oorstrand scores on what goes down as errors number 4 and 5 this inning for the Falcons. Here's another try for Safford down at third. Comes up with it. The throw on to first is not going to be in time. Throw to get third to get the lead runner, and they got him. Aggressive base running does not work in favor of the Ole Athletics in this inning, but the Falcons certainly helped him out. The Athletics scoring 4 runs. They lead 10-2 as we go to the 6th on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com.
Pacific Power works day in and day out to power our communities because we know our neighbors rely on us. We're trimming and clearing branches around poles and lines, protecting our system, and giving you real-time updates when storms roll in. You can count on us in all seasons. 24/7, we're here for you. Powering your greatness.
Josh Eldridge back with you on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. It's the top of the 6th inning as the Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Eugene Ole Athletics 10-2. For Eugene thus far, 10 runs on 8 hits. They've committed 2 errors, and they have left 3 runners on base. For Klamath Falls so far, 2 runs on 2 hits. They've committed 7 errors, and they have left 4 runners on base. Colin Takini leading things off for the Falcons against Stephen Riley. The first pitch to him will miss low. The count is 1-0. Takini is 0 for 1 today. He walked in the second, grounded out in the fourth. And here's the 1-0 on the way to him. That one will skip to the plate. Count moves to 2-0. Falcons needing a rally in a big way. Talked throughout the game about how all they need is base runners. Well, now they need a significant rally. Don't have to get it all back here, mind you, but you probably want to get back at least 4 or 5 runs this inning as a foul ball down the left side makes the count 2-1. I think the Falcons would feel comfortable if you can bring yourself within 3 runs to get ready for the 7th, but that would mean a really lengthy and tough rally here in the 6th. The Falcons have done it before. They can score runs in bunches, but now they need runs in bunches here. The 2-1 is swung on and missed. The count is 2-2 to Colin Takini, with P.J. Safford due up next, followed in the order by Ian Meyer. Riley looking in against Colin. And the pitch. Checks his swing. It'll go in as ball 3. A curveball dipped away and low as well to Colin. Riley set again, working out of the stretch. The pitch is going to bounce to the plate, and Takini works a leadoff walk in the top of the 6th inning. Second time Takini has walked today. And in steps P.J. Safford. He'll be looking to make up for defensive woes in the last half inning here with this at-bat. At the plate today, Safford is 0 for 2. Grounded into a double play in the 2nd inning, and grounded out in the 4th inning as well. The right-hander from Klamath Union High School settles in. As it looks like Eagle Point and Central Point, those two teams have arrived to the ball field today. They're playing in the nightcap tonight, scheduled for an 8 o'clock start. Safford will take ball 1 inside. And Riley falls behind. Middle infield ready to turn 2. Nobody protecting the bunt against Safford, although he did lay down a bunt single yesterday in the win for the Falcons against West Albany. The 1-0 pitch is going to find the zone. The count is even at a ball and a strike. Winner of this game advances to play the winner of that aforementioned Central Point and Eagle Point game. The loser of this game will play the Columbia Gorge Hustlers tomorrow in a 2 o'clock start, it looks like. Safford, a bouncer out towards short. Bush throws on to second for 1, but they're unable to turn 2, so Safford reaches on a fielder's choice as Takini is out on the base paths, and it brings up Ian Meyer with 1 gone and a runner at first. Meyer 0 for 2 in the game thus far. He grounded out in the 2nd inning, flew out in the 4th. Now here in the top of the 6th, trying to get on base. Falcons needing a rally here in the late going of this game, down by 8 runs. Move over to first, back safely is Safford. Riley comes set. And another move over to first. Close that time, but Safford is back safely. Corbin Hamilton is on deck for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Meyer's still waiting for his first pitch. If they've checked on Safford twice over there at first. Not a guy who's typically going to steal a bag straight away, but if there's something on, want to keep him close to the base. It's a line drive backwards. The count is 0-1 to Ian Meyer. Meyer standing tall in the right-handed batter's box, awaits the offering from Riley, but first he steps off. Looked like he was ready to throw more out of the windup than the stretch on that occasion, but with the runner on, he's going to readjust and get ready to toss out of the stretch. Riley comes set with the 0-1 and the pitch. That's going to come in and hit Meyer. At a base runner, Meyer and the Falcons will take that every time. They move Safford into scoring position, and in steps Corbin Hamilton. Hamilton has reached base a pair of times today, once on a single in the 3rd. He also reached on an error in the 5th, came around to score both times. All right, Hamilton awaits the first pitch from Stephen Riley. That one misses in tight. Hamilton having to get out of the way of that one. The count is 1-0 to the Falcons' first baseman. After Hamilton in the order, it is Carson Sims. Pitch on the way from Riley is in the dirt, but a nice job by the catcher Kessel to keep it in front of him. The count moves to 2-0 to Hamilton. Safford a modest lead off his second, but the second baseman Hermanson trying to keep him close. Riley checks on him, holds his glare before delivering home. The pitch to Hamilton is a knee-high fastball called strike one. 2-1 the count to Corbin. He'll be preparing for his junior year at Henley High School next year. The 2-1. Hamilton sends a line drive deep to center field. That's going to settle down in front of Bear. They're waving Safford in. No, they're going to hold the brakes on Safford at third, and so that will load the bases for Carson Sims. I like that decision for Coach Teeters, trying to keep as many guys on base as you can and hopefully knock a few of them around if Sims can come through with a big-time knock here. As Safford's to third, Meyer is at second. Sims without a hit yet today. He struck out in the third, was hit by a pitch in the fifth. But an opportunity here for the team's leading hitter to try to knock in some runs. He bats with the bases loaded and 1 out. The pitch from Riley will get away from the catcher. Kessel has to get to it, and Safford breaks from third and scores. Safford in, Meyer to third, Hamilton to second. And a 1-0 count to Carson Sims. Still a similar position for the Falcons right fielder to try and knock in a couple of runs, as now the Falcons trail by 7. A score of 10-3 in the top of the 6th inning. After Sims in the order, it's Ryan Douglas. Here's the pitch to Sims. Sharply hit to left field, through for a base hit. That's going to knock in a run, and they hold the runner at third. Score now 10-4, and the Falcons showing some life in the 6th inning. They'll have runners at the corners for Ryan Douglas. RBI single there for Carson. Give him RBI number 24 on the summer. And Ryan Douglas looking for more of his own. Already has an RBI today. He had a sacrifice in the 5th inning. Looks like Eugene could be making a change away from Stephen Riley as KJ Strickland comes out of the dugout. Well, looks like he could be keeping the ball in the hands of Riley. It'll give us an opportunity to highlight Gino's Cafe on East Main Street in Klamath Falls. One of our broadcast sponsors, open every morning at 6:30, serving their famous breakfast burritos. Those are served all day long, along with other menu items like burgers, monthly specials, and Italian favorites. You can order online at iloveginos.com, or you can order and have it brought to you on DoorDash. Also, big shout out to Coldwell Banker, Holman Premier Realty, who knows that little things can add up to big bills when you're buying, selling, or owning a home. That's why Coldwell Banker, Holman Premier Realty's exclusive Beyond the Sale guarantees protect buyers, sellers, and homeowners from unexpected repair bills. To learn more, call Coldwell Banker, Holman Premier Realty today. Get on the phone with the principal broker over there, Randy Shaw. You also might hear his voice if you go out to any Bonanza football games. He's the public address announcer for the Bonanza Antlers in the fall time. Back to baseball here at Eagle Point High School in a 10-4 game in which the Falcons trail the Ole Athletics. They've got runners at the corners and Ryan Douglas at the plate. It's still Stephen Riley on the bump for the Oles. Here's the pitch. Douglas will take a pitch in the dirt, skipped away from Kessel for a moment. Not enough to make Hamilton score, but enough to allow Sims to advance to second. 2 men in scoring position, and Douglas at the plate. Every run on this comeback attempt is vital for the Falcons. Trying to keep the rally alive here for Douglas, who on the season is batting .311. As that pitch misses wide, 1-0. Again, Douglas already has an RBI today on a sacrifice fly out in the 5th inning. Otherwise, he grounded out in the 3rd. Riley is set with the 2-0 to Douglas. That one finds the inside corner. Count is 2-1 to the Falcons left fielder, with Max Price due up next in the top of the Falcons order. The 2-1 on the way to Ryan is going to miss wide, and it gets away from Kessel again. Gets to the backstop. Sliding in and scoring is Hamilton. And the Falcons trail by 5. One runner remains on base. It's Carson Sims who stands at third. As as the Falcons have plated 3 runs here in the 6th inning. Set on the mound is Riley. And the pitch to Douglas is hit on the ground towards short. Up with it is Bush. He'll throw on to first to get the out, but a run comes in to score. Falcons trail now by 4. The bases will be empty with 2 outs. And the top of the order due up. It's Max Price. Credit Douglas with the RBI on that ground out as well, making it 10-6. The Ole's still lead, but the lead shrinking. All right. Price, who is 1 for 3 today, swings at the first pitch and hits it into foul territory behind the left field fence. And the count moves to 0-1 to Max Price. Again, 1 for 3 today. He's grounded out and struck out. That was in the 1st and 5th innings. Otherwise, he singled in a run in the 3rd. Looking to start something of a 2-out rally for the Falcons here in the 6th. The pitch is going to miss upstairs. The count is 1-1. After Price, it's Connor Shively in the order for the Falcons. Riley looking in, comes set. And the 1-1. Price hits a line drive deep to center field, but the center fielder Bear going to get underneath it and make the catch to end the inning. But the Falcons do score 4 runs in the inning on 2 base hits. No runners left stranded, and they trail 10-6 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. It is the bottom of the 6th inning here at the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament on 104.3 and 960 Sports and MyBasin.com. The Klamath Falls Falcons trail the Eugene Ole's 10-6. Leading off this inning is Mason Bear. He'll be followed by Stephen Riley and Jaden Arbogast. That is 1, 2, and 3 in the Eugene order against Colby Medeiros, who misses high and in with the first pitch, a count of 1-0. Medeiros working out of the windup. And here's the pitch. That one's hit hard to left. That is going to get foul. Lost track of that ball. Looked like it was a pretty deep fly ball. Might have cleared the foul fence, but count is 1-1 to Mason Bear, who is 1 for 3 in the contest today. He singled and scored in the first inning. Otherwise, he has struck out and reached on an error since then. The Ole's looking to build upon this lead and book themselves a ticket in the nightcap tomorrow night in the winners bracket against either Central Point or Eagle Point, who are still yet to play tonight. As the 1-1 is looped in there for strike 2, a bending breaking pitch froze up Bear. And Medeiros now going to look for that put-away pitch. The 1-2 is a check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Medeiros gets strike 3 swinging against Mason Bear. And there is one gone in the bottom of the 6th inning. In steps Stephen Riley. Now, Riley is 0 for 3 today, although he's reached on errors twice. Once on the in the first inning and once in the 5th inning. Each time he reached, he came in to score. Here he takes a pitch upstairs. The count is 1-0 to Riley. Jaden Arbogast is on deck for the Ole Athletics. The pitch from Medeiros, hit in the air towards right, settles down behind first, and Sims going to have to keep that one in front of him, and he does, as Riley with a one-out single. Here's Arbogast. Arbogast 1 for 3 today. He singled and scored in the first. He struck out in the third and reached on an error in the fifth. Also, we're going to have Broderick Poe come in and run for the pitcher, Stephen Riley. Arbogast with a runner on first, settles in against Medeiros. Corners in trying to protect the bunt for Arbogast, but he pulls back the bunt and instead takes strike one. Middle infield ready to turn two for the Falcons. If you're curious who's due up for the Falcons in the next half inning as they try a comeback, it'll be Shively, Takini, and Takini. Runner on the move. Jacoby's throw down is not going to be in time. Broderick Poe in safely into scoring position. That pitch, I believe, was called a ball. Count is 1-1 to Arbogast. After Arbogast is Gavin Bush, for the Eugene Ole Athletics. Here's the pitch from Medeiros. Misses up. Count is 2-1. Shively, the shortstop, keeping Poe at second honest. Tapping the glove behind him as Medeiros comes set with the 2-1. Here's the pitch. Hard hit to third. Safford dives for it, but it kicks off his glove. They're waving Poe in to score. Shively slips in the outfield, and Poe will score on the RBI single from Jaden Arbogast. It's 11-6. Ole's here in the bottom of the sixth inning. So now with a runner at first, here is Gavin Bush. Bush singled in the first inning, knocked in 2 runs. He flew out in the third, and he reached on an error and scored in the fifth. Pitch from Medeiros. Bush checks his swing, but it's a call to strike one. Inning started with a strikeout, but back-to-back singles have scored a run for the Ole Athletics here in the bottom of the sixth inning. As Medeiros drops in a breaking pitch for a strike. The count is 0-2 to Gavin Bush with Josh Berry waiting on deck for the Oles. Medeiros set. And the pitch. It's a bouncer to Safford at third. Throw on to first is in time, but Arbogast advances to second in the meantime. A 5-3 put out for the second out in the sixth inning. And in steps Josh Berry. Berry is 2 for 3 in the contest today. He doubled in 2 runs in the first, added another RBI in the fifth inning, and scored runs each time around. Here's the pitch, misses high and in, had to duck out of the way of it. The count is 1-0 to the designated hitter for the Oles, Josh Berry. Standing at second is Jaden Arbogast. Reached after an RBI single earlier in the inning and advanced on the ground out. Medeiros set with the 1-0. And the pitch. Swung on and missed. Count is 1-1 to Berry with Jace Felipe on deck. Berry settling back in. Berry from Junction City High School, graduated this past spring. Here's the pitch. Fouls it straight back. The count is 1-2. Medeiros trying to limit the bleeding to only a single run here in the sixth. The Falcons will only have 3 outs to work with on offense to try to make an improbable comeback late in the winner's bracket of this state tournament. Timeout is called as Jacoby Takini comes out and has a chat with Colby Medeiros. Gives us a quick opportunity to remind you that one of our broadcast sponsors is the Pacific Power Foundation, who just a couple of weeks ago announced a set of donations worth over $300,000 to various organizations around the state of Oregon, locally, including Friends of the Children, the Klamath County Rotary, and the Oregon Tech Foundation. Big thanks to Pacific Power, not only for their contributions to the STEM programs in the state of Oregon, but also supporting the Klamath Falls Falcons. The 1-2 misses in. The count is 2-2 to Josh Berry. Medeiros, again, looking for that put away. Already has one strikeout earlier in this inning. Trying to find another here. The 2-2 as Medeiros comes set. Here's the pitch. It is lifted foul down the left field side. So the count will remain 2-2. Jace Felipe on deck. Caleb Van Ordstrand waits in the hole. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th inning, an 11-6 ball game that the Falcons trail the Eugene Ole Athletics. Medeiros looking in to get the sign from Tacchini, who gives the target away. The pitch. That is fisted towards first and then kicks foul. Count remains 2-2 strikes to Berry. Putting up a battle up there against Medeiros with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning. Heading back to second is Arbogast. And Medeiros back on the rubber for the 2-2. Medeiros set. And the pitch. Swung on and missed, and a big strikeout gets the Falcons out of the 6th inning, leaving a runner in scoring position. But a tall mountain to climb as we head to the 7th, down 11-6 on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
So lonely, I just sigh and moan. Seems like I've been waiting forever, wondering if you're coming home. I just saw your face, I know you're coming home. I swear there is no place. And then I heard your voice. I know you're coming home. I know you're coming home.
This is where unconditional love and immeasurable happiness reside. This is home. Coldwell Banker, where home begins.
Klamath Falls Falcons trailing in the top of the 7th inning, 11-6 against the Eugene Ole Athletics, and a new pitcher into the ball game is Mason Bear. Looks like it'll be a swap for him and Stephen Riley, who heads out towards center field. I'll give you an idea of what Mason Bear is working with as he looks to record the final 3 outs and keep the Oles in the winner's bracket. So, Bear on the season, making his 6th appearance. All of them have been in relief as he gets ready for the first pitch to Connor Shively. First pitch swinging for Shively, comes up empty, the count 0-1. Bear has a 1-0 record this summer, has given up 7 hits and 3 runs. He has an ERA of 1.2 through his 11 innings pitched so far this summer. Here is the 0-1. That one is called a strike on the outside to the left-handed hitting Shively. He falls behind 0-2. Shively still looking for his first hit today, although he's reached base twice, once on an error in the 3rd, and he walked in the 5th. Here's the pitch to Shively. That one is hit the opposite way into left field, looks foul territory, and it hits off the bar and over there in left. The count remains 0-2 to Shively. He'll be followed by Jacoby Tacchini and then Colin Tacchini. It's 2-3-4 to try to start a rally for the Falcons as they try to score 5 or more runs here in the 7th. The first to Shively, the 0-2, is fouled off. The count will remain 0-2 to the Falcons' shortstop. Shively, the lefty, settles back in against Mason Bear. Bear set. And he'll step off before delivering the 0-2 pitch to Shively. Carson Pimley getting some warm-up tosses in for the Falcons. Here's the 0-2 to Shively. Misses wide. Count is 1-2. Shively settling back in. Team's second leading hitter. Set on the mound is Bear, and the pitch. Line drive, center field, base hit. That's the way you're going to start a rally for the Falcons in the top of the 7th inning. Jacoby Tacchini getting ready to step in now for the Falcons. Tacchini 0 for 3 in the contest thus far. Grounded out in the 1st, 3rd, and 5th innings. Now here in the 7th, bats with nobody out and a runner on with his team down 5. Move over to first. Shively back safely. See if the Falcons have anything on, trying to get aggressive with Shively, or if they're content with just having him and keeping him on base and hoping they can string some hits together. Pitch on the way to Tacchini. Hits that one into the air to left field. Under it is the left fielder, Vaughn. Puts it away for the first out. Colin Tacchini, a chance now for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Colin is 0 for 1 today. He grounded out in the 4th. Otherwise, Colin has walked twice this afternoon. Runner on first is Connor Shively, and Bear comes set. Here's the pitch. That one is hit off to the right side in foul territory, and the count is 0-1 to Colin Tacchini. On deck is P.J. Safford for the Klamath Falls Falcons. Set is Bear, and a move over to first again to check on Shively. Again, Falcons could be aggressive with Shively, so Eugene going to try and keep an eye on him over there at first. He's got about a 4-step lead. And the pitch. That one's popped up to the right side. Van Ordstrand makes the catch. 2 gone in the 7th. Safford steps in now for the Falcons with 2 outs and a runner on first. Safford today hitless. He grounded into a double play in the 2nd, grounded out in the 4th. He reached on a fielder's choice, though, in the 6th and would come around to score in the 6th inning. Now Mason Bear comes set with the pitch to Safford. Here it comes. Dropped in for a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. Ian Meyer is on deck if Safford can find a way to get on base and extend the ball game. Bear trying to stop him here as he takes a look at Shively before coming set. Here's the 0-1. Safford fights that one off, but now the Falcons down to their final strike of the ball game. Down 0-2. Bear toes the rubber. Looks in to get the sign from Kessel. Checks the runner at first before coming set. Bear together now kicks and fires. The pitch misses upstairs. The count 1-2 to P.J. Safford. Safford will step out of the box, take a deep breath before stepping back in. Straightens up his batting helmet, and he's ready to go. Going to defend the plate in a 1-2 count. Bear comes set. The high leg kick and fires. Safford swings and misses at strike 3, and that will be the ball game. The Eugene Ole Athletics advance in the winner's bracket with an 11-6 win over the Klamath Falls Falcons, but the Falcons tournament is not finished. They'll be back tomorrow for a 2 o'clock elimination game against the team from the Dalles. We'll talk about it in our post-game show, so stick around for a brief recap on 104.3 and 960 Sports and mybasin.com.
Threads. There are many threads that run through our region. There are churches and schools and little league teams that bring us together and bind us into communities. There are roads and cars. There are houses and jobs and businesses, all woven together to make the fabric of our communities. There are financial threads that are part of that tapestry as well. For over 80 years, it's been our pleasure to be headquartered here, providing financial services to generations of our friends and neighbors. From that first savings account to retirement planning and all of the cars and houses and groceries in between, we keep your money local, investing it back into our communities, adding more threads to the fabric to make our communities stronger. Pacific Crest Federal Credit Union. Find your path.
What rhymes with great?
Participate.
Where does greatness start? Here, in the classroom. On the stage.
In the pool. On the field. Where will your greatness take you?
To better grades.
To more friends. Yeah! Be great.
Participate!
Introducing Smith Bates Marcom Solutions, your trusted partner in marketing and communication. We specialize in crafting compelling campaigns, eye-catching graphics, and impactful branding materials.
Smith Bates is like working with dependable friends. They always help us build our professional image.
Through the innovative strategies that the team at Smith Bates suggested, we've been able to give the brand at Calor the boost that it desperately needed.
Unlock your potential with Smith Bates Marcom Solutions.
The Klamath Falls Falcons lose to the Eugene Ole Athletics in their second game of the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament by a score of 11-6. 11 runs for Eugene comes on 10 hits. They commit 2 errors. For the Falcons, they score 6 runs on 5 hits and commit 7 errors in the contest. The winning pitcher today for Eugene is going to be Gavin Bush, who pitched the first 3 2/3, allowing 2 hits and a run and 1 strikeout. The losing pitcher today is Colin Takini, who pitched the first 3 innings, allowing 6 hits and 6 runs, although just 3 of them earned, and he struck out 4. Notables for the Klamath Falls Falcons today include a 1-for-4 day for Max Price, a 1-for-3 day for Connor Shively. Corbin Hamilton finished 2-for-3 with 3 runs scored. Carson Sims was 1-for-2 with an RBI and a run scored. Ryan Douglas had 2 RBI today, but was 0-for-3 at the plate. With this win, Eugene advances to what will be game number 11 of the tournament tomorrow night. They will play the winner of the nightcap this evening between Central Point and Eagle Point, which is set to begin in the next hour or so here from the Yard. Otherwise, Klamath Falls sticks around in the tournament, although they are going to be playing Columbia Gorge, the Hustlers, tomorrow in what looks to be the 2 o'clock game and an elimination game for the Falcons against Columbia Gorge. We'll be with you tomorrow right here on 104.3 and 960 Sports and on mybasin.com as the Klamath Falls Falcons look to play another day here at the Oregon Single-A Legion Baseball State Tournament. Want to thank everybody involved with today's broadcast, both head coaches Sean Teeters and KJ Strickland, for making the broadcast easy today. Always want to give a shout to Mike Safford. Wasn't our official scorer today, but we'll make sure everything is straightened for the post-game story, which you'll be able to find on mybasin.com. Again, the Falcons season isn't over after this loss. They'll play at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon against Columbia Gorge. Until then, thank you so much for joining me on the broadcast today. My name is Josh Eldridge. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening, and so long from Eagle Point High School.